is the DJV Download. I'm Doug.
I'm Jen.
And I'm Victoria.
This podcast made possible in part by Caletrin, the safe way to lose weight, Prevagen, keeping your brain healthy, and MyPillow, guaranteed the most comfortable pillow you'll ever own. All right, here we go. Let's get into it, Jay. What's the more important, the Hulu show or the E show when it comes to those Kardashians?
That's the question. Right now, probably the Hulu show, because they just announced the premiere date for their new series, The Kardashians. It's going to be dropping on April 14th. This comes after they did 20 seasons on E with Keeping Up with the Kardashians. And for the new series, they're talking about how it's going to be really intense, with intense pressures of running their billion-dollar businesses, fun stuff of playtime, school drop-offs.
So it's all, really going... you won't be able to see it on E at all?
No, this is a totally different series. It's on Hulu. Yeah. And one of the things that they're saying is that this is going to give the real stories behind the headlines. Now, call me crazy, but I thought that's what Keeping Up with the Kardashians was also about. I didn't really watch it. I saw like a couple episodes here and there. So I am one of the people that I am kind of curious. What is different about the Hulu series?
Like drove the headlines, right? Like they would create something that would air then on the show that then would become a headline for them to deal with in the tabloids too.
Well, they had said during their reunion when they left E that they got very frustrated with the amount of time it takes for them to shoot and then when it airs. And so on Hulu, apparently it's a much shorter turnaround. So they said that, like, you know, Chloe would break up with Lamar, and then 6 months later you'd see it on TV. And we've already read all the headlines in Us Weekly and in Page Six. And so that was one of their big complaints, was that E had such rigid seasons and scheduling that they just felt like by the time it aired on TV, you had already read all the headlines, which is true. And that happens a lot with, you know, like Jersey Shore. Now Angelina's getting divorced, so we'll see how long it takes for us to see that actually happen on TV. So with Hulu, it's going to be faster.
There was another reason for it. I'm betting
money
there's a lot more money in the Hulu deal.
Yeah.
So where does that leave Ryan? Ryan's the producer. Is he along for the ride?
I don't know if he is anymore. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not sure.
Yeah.
But they signed like a multi-year deal with Hulu to create all kinds of content, and it's
so would it
likely
be fair
a lucrative deal.
If they edged, isn't Ryan responsible for all this stuff getting to E? Wouldn't it be better, or wouldn't you think it would be more fair if he were a part of this whole thing?
Well, he was definitely one of the ones who helped create it. Yeah, for sure.
Right. All right. Let's have it. Let's hold a good thought, Ryan. We don't want him to be cut out of the
poor
catch.
Ryan. He might need more money.
Yeah. So I want to get to this age tech thing that I am a part of. I perhaps should be the poster child for age tech, don't you think, Victoria? Maybe I could do a TikTok video.
Yes.
I don't know if
the answer is yes.
Then Jay, that is all you, my friend.
Mm-hmm. What would I do if I did a TikTok video? What would be something on the farm?
Well, you like to dance, right? You could do something,
like to dance.
A dance video.
Maybe that
dance
dancing I did with the farmers last week. How about that? That'd be a good TikTok video.
That was a good one. Celebration of getting your hay stacked.
Yeah.
I got my haystack. What does that mean?
I knew that was coming. All right. I have done an extensive study at Victoria's prompting with this focus on age tech companies and how they are accommodating people my age. So, ladies, hear it and weep. This study that was done, actually what I did was reference a study this week in the New England Journal of Medicine, which surveyed 70,000 people, finding that the most productive age in human life is between the ages of 60 and 70. The study in the New England Journal also found the second most productive stage of the human being is from 70 to 80 years of age. The third most productive stage is from 50 to 60. The average age of a Nobel Prize winner is 62. The average age of presidents of prominent companies, 63. Average age of pastors of the 100 largest churches in the country is 71. Joe Osteen doesn't make it in there. The average age of the Pope, 76 years. So what does this tell us? Best years of your life are between 60 and 80. So check this out. By the way, this study also found that at age 60, you reach the top of your potential, and this continues into your 80s. Therefore, those of you who are listening, if you're between the ages of 60 to 70 or 70 to 80, you are the best and second in that order. This is life and how we think about it. For those of you who are younger and want to discount age, it's called ageism. We have sexism. We have racism. We also have ageism. And I think it's just as much of a problem as sexism and racism. In my experience, my opinion.
If not more so, to be honest.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, everybody feels that from certain perspectives that theirs is always going to be worse. But if you look at like the media trends right now, it is much more acceptable to be a person of color or a female than it is to be an old person.
Yep.
Unless you're an old woman, and then that tops everything.
Well, that all
Old
starts
woman,
with media,
yeah,
right?
done.
Yeah,
Sure it does. It does. You're right.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
exactly
we've been
right.
seeing discrimination against women, just in movies and Hollywood, right? That's kind of where, and just TV in general. So women, age out, and it's even when you're watching the local news, the women get younger, and the old guy
Especially
sitting
the
there
local
stay,
news, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And the old guy just keeps getting older. So,
Well, that was Roger Ailes. That was his whole thing about what he put on Fox.
because that's like his own twisted fantasy. I think he just
Right.
set everything
But I
up
would
to
say
look
the
the way he
local
wanted
news-
it to look.
I mean, I agree with you on the cable news front. There is always a look, right? And Fox always had a look for a long time, for sure. But I think the local news it's been so, there's such an example of it where you've got the anchor who's like 95, like on oxygen. And then you have like the chick that turns 40 and they're like, so we're going to go in a different direction.
And the local anchors don't know anything anymore about anything. They bring in these kids. I can see it in Boston, and all four of the news channels, they all have, there's no senior, the people that we used to recognize and see and trust and all, they fired them all because they made too much money. So now they bring these kids in, pay them $100,000 a year. They all think they're big stars, and they mean nothing.
You do
They
have
say
some
nothing.
legacy people, though. I think I live in Los Angeles, and LA's actually surprisingly,
The
a pretty good
independent
market.
stations have,
Yeah.
the independent stations have, which station is,
Channel
what's his
5
face?
is KTLA, and it's a big one. Channel 11 used to do some great
11.
stuff too with
Who's
Steve Edwards.
the entertainment reporter that I never remember his
Sam
name?
Rubin is on
Rubin.
Channel 5. Yeah, and he's been there
right.
forever. Mark Krikey's the weather guy. Chris Schabel, who is the guy who is at NBC, is one of the anchors for the morning cast. I mean, they definitely, I think there is, I don't know, in certain markets, I think you're right. Starting out markets, it's like, if you're in a smaller area, I'm sorry for
When
your
I was
local
in,
newscast. Because
When
it
I
does
drove
suffer based on your
to Des
market
Moines a couple of weeks ago. I was watching the local news in Indiana, some market, little Indiana market. The kids were barely able to dress themselves. Looking at the screen, they were, it was Sunday morning on one of those stations. They were college kids doing, I think it was Unga Bunga. Speaking of Roger Ailes, the book on Sarah Palin that's out called Insurgency. Have you heard about this? The story about Roger Ailes trying to hire the governor, the ex-governor. And Sarah Palin said to her admin as she was leaving, she said, "I felt dirty. I'm never going to meet with him alone again." So that must have been, she must have played ba-da-ba-da-ba-ba with Roger, which was pretty much his standard operating
Or
procedure.
maybe he played ba-da-ba-da-ba-ba with her. I mean, I don't know.
That's
Don't
what I
you
mean.
think?
No, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. He didn't try it with me when I met with him. I can't understand why. Yeah, right. Okay, so here's another warning.
Really missed out, by the way.
Yes, I did. Danger, Will Robinson. Here's a surprise for all of you. Victoria's going to update you on Hytera, which is basically Motorola, is it not?
No. This is a Chinese-based company that has been indicted now by our Department of Justice for conspiring to steal trade secrets from Motorola. So what they did was
I
this
thought
company
they made Motorola phones
they
in
make
China.
Well, I don't know. Everything's made everywhere. So at this point, the parts of everything are made or were scattered around the world. But the bottom line, though, is that what this company did, they produce radio transceivers and radio systems, and they hired former employees from Motorola and had the employees steal information from Motorola, bring it over to Hytera. And so they recruited these employees. They stole proprietary and trade secret information, and then now the DOJ has gone after them. Motorola, we talked about this yesterday in the tech report as well. When you're buying, the Verizon deal, if you buy a new phone, you have to either pay it off completely or you have 3 years of installment payments, and you can't shorten that amount of time. Right. If you buy a Motorola phone, you may not even make it the 3 years. They don't support their phones. They really, it's just, I always discourage anybody from buying a Motorola. I know they've got, the cool Razr phone again and, the bendable screen and all that stuff, but more stuff can go wrong and you're not going to be supported. So, but Motorola, obviously, no company deserves to have their trade secrets stolen, and that's what this Hytera company does.
All right. I just thinking about when Uri Geller was asked by whoever made the bendable phone if he could bend it using, he's the spoon bender, and so they asked him if he would bend the phone for them as a promotional thing.
Have you stood in front of him when he bent a spoon in front of you?
Yes, I've watched him bend a key as well. Yeah, watched all of that.
Rich
stuff.
McFadden has always said that he did it in front of him and he handed it to him and the spoon was hot.
Yeah, right. Just like you, Jennifer.
Well, yeah, I know. That's
okay.
a given.
As long as we're doing international stuff, Joe Biden is meeting with Olaf.
Not from
the
Frozen.
No,
Darn it.
The new chancellor.
Good reference for you, though. I'm surprised you pulled
We
the
told him
Olaf
yesterday
reference.
what Olaf was, because he goes, because he said yesterday, he said something about Olaf, and then, what was your reference, Doug? And you asked us if we knew.
Well,
there was some reference
wait
that
a
you
minute.
had to
Now, hold
Olaf,
on
and
a
then
second.
Jay and I said, oh, well, we know Olaf from Frozen.
Yeah. So this is, Jennifer, another attempt of them to discredit me in your eyes, because they didn't have to tell you that I went down that road yesterday. They just felt compelled.
She just
They
gave you
wanted to
credit
tell you.
for knowing a joke that we said yesterday.
Well, so
That's
why do you
why.
have to take credit? Why don't you leave me
proud
on
of
my
you.
own?
Sure. But what was your reference, though? What was the Olaf that you came in with?
Olaf, I was talking about Schultz, Sergeant Schultz from Hogan's Heroes. That's what I was talking
different.
about.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
What's great is that because of that Olaf reference, all I could see is that guy ice skating into the White House singing,
Right.
Do you want to build a snowman? Forget Russia and Ukraine.
Right.
Do you want to build a snowman? It didn't happen that way, but that's sort of how it happened
No.
in my mind.
So what did happen? So they were doing the if Russia invades routine. Tanks,
Yeah.
troops.
That's
all
a
that
fun
good stuff.
routine, isn't it? If Russia invades.
Love it.
Yeah.
Well, Biden said that and this is good. Here's my problem. This is what should have happened 4 months ago or 5 months ago before the pipeline was ever turned over. Now Biden's saying, well, if they do invade Ukraine, then we are going to take away access to the Nord Stream 2 pipeline, which should have been done 5 months ago, but he's doing it now. So,
But Germany, see, the problem, though, is the pipeline was already completed, and Germany begged us to get 60%
Germany's stupid.
or 50% of, I understand that, but still they're our ally, and that was the whole point of Olaf visiting, is to reinforce the fact that they're the ones who are really going to get hit the hardest. If Russia invades Ukraine, then Germany has to come up with the other 50% of where their fuel comes from.
The
Right
problem
now
is
it's
really
that
global
it's that
warming.
pipeline.
The climate. Look, I'm not saying we shouldn't do our part. We should. But the people who subscribe to climate change, like a religion, it's kind of the reason that we're in this problem in this situation to begin with, because Biden wanted to come into office and shut down all of our pipelines. Before he did that, we were able to ship gasoline and oil to other places. We were doing that. We were energy independent here, and we were shipping out our energy so that the people in France and Germany wouldn't have to rely on Russia. But then we wanted to shut down pipelines. And so that became the problem, is that now Germany and France are all relying on Russia. And so he knows he's got it made. Sad.
All right.
Many CEOs of the biggest companies in the country have put forth large initiatives around gender and diversity, but are struggling to show progress. The Mom Project is a great way to show progress, diversify ranks at all levels within an organization, and propel your business forward. Give moms the opportunity. She'll win on her own merit. Scale your business and make an impact. Start hiring today. Visit work.themomproject.com/momsdeliver.
Time for us here on the DJV program to delve into the secrets of social media, Jay. This is your big jam. How do you like that for lingo, huh? Little guys using big time jingle. Do you remember, you use that term a lot. Do you remember the first time you used the term jam? I'm jamming. Or you probably say jam.
No, that's my jam. I say that all the time.
You do too? Oh.
I don't know. I don't think I've heard Jay say that, but yeah. That's,
oh, yeah.
I think Jen says it too, right?
I do too.
Yeah, Jen and I
say that's
that,
the jam.
Yeah.
That's my
Really?
jam.
That's the jam. All right, well, my jam is blueberry. I don't know about yours.
I knew it was going to go to like some weird produce.
Really? Weird?
Yes.
What's weird about blueberry jelly?
Blueberry.
Jams.
Strawberry.
Huh?
No, he only
What?
just says blueberry. Blueberry. Yeah.
Are you having fun? Can we go
Yeah.
on now? Okay.
Yeah.
Seems Steve Irwin's son got himself into a jam.
These Irwin kids. These Irwins. Forget the kids.
My God, this guy. He's getting, what is it, a 12-foot, was it an alligator or a crocodile, Jay? Who's chasing him around? Or what's chasing him around?
It was a crocodile. Leucistic crocodile, saltwater crocodile named Casper that his dad had actually rescued like years and years ago back in the early aughts, and has been living at the Australia Zoo, and they were putting him in their crocoseum, and they wanted to run a test and make sure that he was happy with his new surroundings. And when Robert, the 18-year-old son of the late Steve Irwin, went to go feed him, the crocodile Casper, he jumped out of the water for the food, which kind of like, showed that he was very happy in his enclosure area. But he bypassed the food and started chasing after Robert. And so then Robert was yelling bail to the rest of the team that was filming, because this was for the season finale on the show that actually aired over the weekend. Yeah, and he was, and the cool thing was Robert was even giving props to his dad, Steve, that his dad knew every move that Casper was always going to make, and Casper can kind of be pretty chaotic. And Robert was saying, he's like, I don't
it's
have
a
that
crocodile.
instinct.
Of course he's chaotic. It's a crocodile.
And
this is a saltwater. These are saltwater crocodiles. These things swim in the ocean. Like, they get into fights with sharks. This is no joke. Like, these things freak me out. The whole idea. I live at the beach, and it freaks me out. Sharks I'm okay with, but a saltwater crocodile, hard pass.
Well, and that's what he was saying. He's like, my dad knew every move that he was always about to make. He was always a step ahead of him. He's like, I don't have that instinct. I don't have that skill. So I'm terrified. He even acknowledged how scary it can be getting into these enclosures with these reptiles.
Time for a new pair of shoes and a new pocketbook, it would seem. 772 pounds, 12 feet long. What do you think is going to happen?
That's a couple Birkins, right?
See, this is what bothers me. It just, like, people think, even people who think they can anticipate the next move, it's a wild animal. Wild with, like, keyword.
So I'm going to give you a
correlation.
correlation. On the farm, the exact same warning goes to those who would get into a pen with any bull that's over 18 months old. You never turn your back.
Yeah.
You never go into. I don't have bulls on the farm for mainly the same reason, because I have people touring the farm, going out with the cows and that sort of thing, and you don't have a bull around. Some of the younger ones are okay if they're 12, 13, 14 months old. They can do their thing, and they're still okay, but they get very protective when they're 18 to 20 months old and older. That's why most bulls don't live to be more than 24 months old, because they get really nasty.
I am Robert Strickler. My wife Joyce and I have been married for 53 years. Certainly one of the really important things in my life are our children and our grandchildren. I am essentially a writer. I've been involved in communications in the media. I've been an avid fly fisherman for at least 40 or more years. I've been taking Prevagen on a regular basis for at least 8 years. For me, the greatest benefit over the years has been that Prevagen seems to help me recall things and also think more clearly, have a crisper ability to remember and think through things. And I enthusiastically recommend Prevagen. It has helped me an awful lot.
Prevagen, healthier brain, better life. Robert Strickler is a content contributor for Prevagen and real user. Based on a clinical study of subgroups of individuals who are cognitively normal or mildly impaired, this product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
What is going on in Maryland? Let's get the scoop, the straight scoop, the poop from Maryland, in fact.
This is probably one of the best videos floating around, going viral on social media right now. A Maryland police officer was working as a crossing guard at a middle school. One of the students was crossing. The crossing guard was holding her hand up to stop the cars, waving the kids ahead. A girl starts coming up, walking, and there was a car that was coming that I guess the driver didn't see them or whatever. But the police officer, crossing guard, noticed what was going on and was like, this car is not going to be able to stop. Pushes the student out of the way. She gets clipped. It looks like she gets clipped on the leg by the car. The car stops. The driver comes out to make sure she's okay. The student is making sure she's okay. It was
the video's wild.
The video is astounding.
The crossing guard is in a big orange, like a poncho or something. How did
that's
the
what
car?
they wear. Those crossing the bright green or the bright orange. How do you
But when
not
you
see that?
But this car, I thought it was maybe a drunk driver because the car is going really fast and just plows right into them.
Or texting and driving.
That's true too.
Some kind of
they look like
distracted
drunk
driving.
drivers.
But the woman comes flying up hot and then slams on her brakes, clips the police officer. Corporal Annette Goodyear is the name of the Northeast Police Department of the officer. And it is just, absolutely astounding.
So
She's
brave.
going to be okay. She was clipped in the leg, but definitely looked like it hurt. And the head of the police department is working with the mayor because they were like, we need to do some kind of honor thing for this woman. She is a hero. She's doing her job, but she saved a life.
The face of the police. That's what she needs to be, at least down there. Anyway,
And the driver definitely got cited for several traffic violations, including negligent driving.
Good.
How would that also not be almost manslaughter, vehicular manslaughter, right? It's attempted. It's so blatant when you see the video. It's nuts.
Could you imagine being the parent of that student?
Well,
I get chills.
This happened here the other night when I was coming home from the airport. There was an accident on the Mass Turnpike. It happened. A guy ran out of gas, pulled over right by the exit, got out of his car, and for some reason was trying to dodge cars and ended up in the left-hand lane and got hit by some guy and killed. And he was just, the guy that ran over him was trying to avoid him, but he couldn't get out of the way in time. And so you see these people, doing stuff. You got to be very careful with what's on the road, actually. Somebody asked me the other day how he could lose his belly fat.
Caletrin targets all over body fat. Of course, belly fat tends to be where everybody carries it, but Caletrin just really gives your body back what it needs. So it revs up your metabolism naturally, and you burn off those fats and sugars the way that your body wants to. So you do lose the belly fat along with just all over toning too.
So does Caletrin work best with a diet, with an exercise program?
Well, we have people that have had success with it both ways. Obviously, if you're eating better, eating in moderation, staying away from the sugars and the sodas, you're going to see results faster than if you're just taking it by itself. But our 90-day program, that huge 86% success rate that we have, that's just with taking Caletrin alone. So check it out on our website, toploss.com. All the information is at toploss.com. That's TOPLOSS.com, or call us 1-833-TOP-LOSS.
And use the DJV code for all these specials when you check out. This is the DJV Download. I'm Doug.
I'm Jen.
And I'm Victoria.
This podcast made possible in part by Caletrin, the safe way to lose weight, Prevagen, keeping your brain healthy, and My Pillow, guaranteed the most comfortable pillow you'll ever own.